I've seen a lot of content at the moment when you go online about Generation Alpha. You type in Generation Alpha in every single video.
Generation Alpha is on track to be the most troubled generation of all time.
We truly are in the end times of humanity. It seems like
as terrified of Gen Alpha.
With all the sarcasm and dark humor lies a whole host of uncomfortable truths about where our society is going.
Fuck me. All right. When I was a young buck, back in the day, I would wake up and I'd go downstairs onto my computer and I would type in www.runescape.com. I would sit on runescape.com, World 2, Varrot Bank, I'd be typing Wave 2, Shake 2, selling GF, 30 GP each. I was doing that whilst on another screen, MySpace, posting pictures of my hair looking like a fucking bird's nest, listening to 3 Days Grace. I was doing all that, and at that very time, I recall the generation above us looking down our generation and saying, their minds are melting, the computer's ruining them, they're becoming salted, they're watching stuff like South Park, these idiotic, stupid Jackass. Like, they would look at our generation and they saw us and they thought, they're fucking stupid. And they're getting stupider. And they were scared. They were scared of all of the things that we were doing, all the new slang. When I was saying leet, hacksaw, noob, pooned, and watching Pure Poonage and Arby and the Chief, they would have watched that and thought, what the actual fuck is happening to our children? And they were fearful. I'm really genuinely disappointed. My generation, we're doing quite literally the exact same thing that our parents did to us. They were scared of us, and now we are scared of Gen Alpha. We're seeing Gen Alpha with their Ohio Riz, WL fucking 08 Ohio 3 a.m. Yeah, I'm so out of touch, I can't even say it correctly.
And then there's another slang called skibbity. Now, I think this slang originated from another term called skibbity toilet, but to keep it real, I have absolutely zero clue what the fuck this word is supposed to mean. As far as I'm concerned, it's some goofy ass word that some cringe ass Roblox kids made up. And then you got gap. This is pretty much what you say when you see someone with a fat ass.
They're seeing this and making content on how Gen Alpha is doomed, Gen Alpha is falling apart, Gen Alpha is hopeless. Oh my God, Gen Alpha, please just put the knife down, just Gen Alpha. They're making all this content about Gen Alpha, and it instantly had me having flashbacks of when you would see news reports growing up. You'd see like BBC news reports on the dangers of internet cafes, the dangers of World of Warcraft.
Teenager hooked on violent computer games. He's playing them an incredible 16 hours a day. His mother says his personality has changed and that he's become moody and violent.
These pieces would be made for the generations above us, and they were very serious. Like, they sounded very compelling. You know, it's some middle-aged white lady who's very concerned. Kids today are typing leet haxer. What does it mean? And then it would go into why this is like this illegal crime. Your kids, they're going to end up being sold on the black market because someone on Habbo Hotel gave them I don't know what they were saying, but they were saying some bullshit is what they were saying. And we're doing the exact same thing. When we saw those news reports of people complaining about our generation, we would look at them and cringe, rightfully, because it's funny seeing a very concerned middle-aged woman saying leet hacksaw. It's funny. Imagine Gen Alpha right now. They're probably looking at this like, it's not that fucking deep. It's just funny. We just have a sense of humor you don't get. And it makes me think, all the videos I do on my main channel, I do lots of deep dives into culture. When jazz music came along, it was the height of rebellion. If you were playing jazz music, people in like mainstream culture were talking about how jazz music will literally upend society and destroy everything. Now, if you put on jazz music when your new date is coming over, she's thinking, this is a pretty sophisticated lad. And Elvis was hated by society because he gyrated, he did this. He moved his hips, and therefore society hated him. The hippies came along, and oh my God, the reaction to the hippies. The hippies were the end of America. And what happened? You got the iPhone. You had Steve Jobs. You had people came along who grew up in these eras, and naturally, as things go, they grow up and they become adults. Between the ages of sort of 13 and 20, which is, I guess, what Gen Alpha is now, they are they're finding their identity. They're finding who they are. When they're 0 to 13, they're just their parents' kids. They have no separate identity from them. And so when you reach 13, you discover your own identity and you try things. You try weird things. We were emos. We were fucking grebos and shit. Chavs. That was our generation. We were trying to figure shit out and people hated it. And then you grow up and you let go of some things, you know. I don't have hair covering my eyes anymore. Well, I don't sag my trousers anymore. You change, but you keep elements of it. That is the common evolution of people. It's just embarrassing to me to hear people my age looking at Gen Alpha and being scared of it and thinking this is doomed, like culture is doomed, society's doomed. We're making these edits where you had MLG tags and spinning around 360 no scopes, talking in these crazy terms that no one understood. We were doing the exact same shit. That we complain about Gen Alpha doing, and we're looking down on them and judging them. I think, like, a good thing to do is to look at young people's culture and embrace it and appreciate it for what it is. Yeah, I'm not going to be walking around talking about how good someone's gyat's looking or talking about W Riz. I'm probably not going to do that, but I'm going to laugh it. I'm going to find it funny, and I'm going to accept that they do things differently. And probably, like every generation, so millennials who were ridiculed when they were growing up, and the hipsters grew up into making independent coffee shops. And the reason everyone likes IPAs now is because some dickhead with big glasses was drinking it in like the 2010s. People, they grow up and they take the elements that they liked as children and they expand them and make new things, exciting new things. The video gaming industry, you could argue, came from an era in the 80s called the Satanic Panic, where kids were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they were playing this, and all the older generation was scared.
Target of a group of concerned parents in the United States who call themselves BADD, B-A-D-D, bothered about Dungeons and Dragons. The reason they are bothered is because they believe the game has been involved in a number of murders and suicides across the United States and now in Canada.
They were scared because there was demons, there was dragons, there was bad things, and they thought this was linked to the occult, and this was like a satanic movement, and that all the kids are going to start burning people at crosses. Ironic in America, because, you know, the past and stuff. But anyway, they thought that that was what was going to happen, and it didn't. Like, they literally tried banning Dungeons and Dragons. It led to the video game industry, which is now a gajillion dollar industry, and you can complain about it, which obviously everyone will, but ultimately it's done good things for the world. It's brought new things, new ways of expressing emerging cultures, personalities like Ninja, players who play games and become celebrities, and they make new things. And, you know, obviously, yeah, things can be bad. Like, they can come up with things and do things that are concerning. Like, the kids on 4chan, back when I was growing up, I was on 4chan, all that sort of stuff. Some of that was concerning. Instead of being fearful, just sort of be a bit closer, like try and understand it more, try see what it is, try not just be scared, embrace it and help guide people. I think rather than condemn, punish, judge, and, you know, lambast the younger generations for being stupid, etc., try appreciate it, try see what's cool in it. There probably is something cool in it. If you don't think Baby Let Me Be Your Sigma is fucking funny,
I just wanna be your Sigma.
I'm sorry, but you are a dick. They're funny people, man. The Generation Alpha comedy stuff that you're seeing is funny. If you don't find it funny, I just don't believe you're really listening. I think you're concerned. Just relax, you know? Just relax, calm down. The kids will be all right. Peace.